my eyeball peeking out back here. Oh, that's not weird at all. I have been hoarding so many books on my floor. Hey, what's up? I'm Allie, and welcome back to my channel. Thing is, I used to do haul videos every month, which would make sense when you are constantly bringing in books. Slowed down a little bit, not as much as I would like to. But here's the thing, I haven't been posting videos as often. We're not going to talk about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're working on it. And so things have just literally piled up. I've reached the point where they need to be off my floor and onto my shelves so I can start actually organizing my shelves. I've been kind of just leaving them as they are to deal with at a later time. This weird thing that if I don't film it in a haul, it can't go on my shelf. Today we're gonna try to guess how many books. These would all be from December of last year. Everything that I've acquired from December until today, which is August 3rd. So just guess ahead of time in the comments how many books you think I'm going to have. I am going to have this section to buy different things that I've already read, basically bought to read at some point this year. I have books that are like specifically like video ideas, pre-orders, and then a whole bunch of subscriptions and gifts. So that's where we're at. Alright, let's start it off. Trust of the Emerald Sea was one that I recently bought. I don't tend to like Brandon Sanderson, but we're giving him a try this year. It's about a girl who decides to chase after the boy that she loves after he's been sold off to like a crazy witch, basically. So she tries to sail these spore seas, which are terrifying, across a pirate ship. The Full Moon Coffee Shop, I thought I wanted a lot of cozy reads at the beginning of the year, and I thought about doing a video that was basically like all the Cat Cafe books. Person is down on their luck and they end up coming across the Full Moon Coffee Shop, and the drink is just what you need. And mostly I just wanted to go there and be like, what drink do I need? This did go into like astrology and about like your birth chart and stuff, which I thought was kind of fun. The House on Abigail Lane, Keelan Patrick Burke, who I have read before and loved, and this was one of my Tiny Terrors book club picks. I run a horror novella book club in my Discord, and we all really enjoyed it. These strange events keep happening like in this particular house over very many years, and it just kind of followed all the disappearances. And it was from the point of view of someone who was like trying to gather all this stuff about it, and we had a lot of fun discussing this. Thornhedge was one that I read and ended up buying because I enjoyed it so much. And T. Kingfisher is very hit or miss for me. I really like their fantasy stuff. I don't so much like their horror stuff, but this is a different take on Sleeping Beauty. Basically, we follow a character who is guarding Sleeping Beauty and then watches as just generations and generations of humans go by, but then one day a human takes a special interest in her. All three of these copies of Lady Macbeth. I think I pre-ordered 2 of these, and then one ended up being a gift or something. I was not expecting dragons, but if you're looking for a book that has a dragon in it, it was a really interesting take on it. I really enjoyed it. If you enjoy Shakespeare retellings, even if you don't, honestly, you don't have to know Shakespeare or any of the story to really enjoy this. It really stands on its own. Speaking of Shakespeare, I picked up this copy of Macbeth. These are these really fun copies of Macbeth that I'm obsessed with. Any of the Shakespeare ones, they have these like neon ones, and I'm obsessed. I picked this when we were in Germany. I need it and I want more of them, but I think they're only the European edition, so I'm gonna have to scour the internet for these bad boys. I picked this up at the Strand. I basically own the second one, but I didn't own the first one, and I love this duology so very much. It's a monk and robot. I did see that they have like a new bind up of both of them, and these are really cozy. I don't really like self-discovery books. The character self-discovery. I didn't discover shit about myself, but they're really cozy, really fun. One of my all-time favorites. A Little Life. If you were here, I decided to read A Little Life in 24 hours because I hate myself. I kept joking about the fact that during 24-hour reading sprints, I was picking bad books, and I was like, what if I just pick A Little Life? And then I was like, shit. It absolutely fucking destroyed me. Ended up giving it a 4.5, but I would not recommend this book to anybody. I wanted to do like a discussion video on it, but at the time I think it was still a little too raw. I still kind of would like to, but I feel like there's just so many things out there about it. The main thing that I've seen though is that people feel like it is trauma porn and basically traumatic things just for the sake of it, but I did not feel that way about this, which is saying something, because I'm normally the first person to be like, this is too much, why would you include this? Was realistic, and that sometimes traumatic events, especially in this instance, this type of trauma does tend to keep happening to people over and over and over again because of the circles that they are placed in. Delve more into it. I had some really good thoughts at the time. Those thoughts have since sizzled away. Adrift in Currents, Clean and Clear. This is a continuation of the Wayward Children series, a series that I love. I pick up and read every time a new book comes out. This was the recent one, and honestly, I think it's one of my all-time favorites from the series. We follow a character that we've met before, and it's kind of like their origin story almost. And I just really loved the world in this. This like drowned world, underwater world, and there's like turtles and stuff. And this was one of the first ones where I genuinely was like so upset by the end of this, because like, you know what's going to happen the whole time because you've read the future of this character. I thought this also had a really great, it was a really great discussion piece on like disability as well, and adoption and children with disabilities. So Witcher of the Forest I picked up for Magical Readathon. I think I needed something that had fruit on the cover, and this has little itty bitty apples. This was a very enjoyable novella. If you're looking for creepy woods, mythology, cruel kingdom, she gets called by the king, and he's like, my children have gone into the forest and you need to go get them. No one survives this forest. No one. People go in, they just disappear. There's things in the forest. Everyone knows you don't go in the forest. Like, there's the whole other world basically in there. But she's been picked because she has actually survived the forest before. And I was swept away in this world. I love dark fantasy mythology elements. So this was right up my alley. Oh god, that scared the shit out of me. One moment. My lizard's getting watered. And then We Have the Flame. Actually, my friend gave this to me. They did not want it anymore, and this is one of my all-time favorite series, duologies. A little bit of a romantasy, not super spicy though. She has to go retrieve this item basically, but along the way an assassin has been sent after her because we don't want her to retrieve it. Well, the kingdom doesn't want her to retrieve it. We want her to, obviously, because, you know, we're rooting for her and whatnot, and like maybe the assassin is really hot. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Pick this up, one, because I obviously have liked Becky Chambers before, and two, so many of my friends have loved this. T and Keisha swear by this, they love it, and so many of my community members have talked about it. This is cozy sci-fi, and I'm just gonna put that out there because I feel like it is sold a little bit as something else. I went into this thinking there was going to be like a grand adventure and whatnot, but it's definitely more about learning about the characters and their lives, and it takes place obviously in space, and there's interspecies, and we're traveling and doing work and whatnot, but at the end of the day there's not like a thrilling aspect to this. Nothing is really on the line. Throwing that out there, this is cozy sci-fi. If I had known that it was strictly cozy, I probably wouldn't have picked up a full novel. I like cozy novellas. I don't really like cozy novels. Stolen Air and The Prisoner's Throne, because I have been absolutely obsessed with Holly Black again this year. I reread Cruel Prince last year. I want to reread it again this year. And then I've also read the modern fairy tales, and I was like, let's just keep going, you know, gotta keep going. This follows Oak's story. I don't think you necessarily need to read The Cruel Prince to read these, but it is recommended. Yes, it is! You want to sit in my lap? You can sit here in my lap, but you got to be quiet. You got to be quiet. So, Stolen Air, Prisoner's Throne, I was like, I'll get these to complete my collection. Found out I already own this. I got it like at the end of last year, and I didn't know, so now I have 2 copies of The Prisoner's Throne. Why on earth I owned the second one before I owned the first one, I don't know. I love Holly Black's fairy world, so like I'll just take more and more and more of this no matter what. These kind of feel like side quests in that world. I had a bit of a character shift within the second one that didn't quite agree with the way that I feel like they were painted in the first one. So that was my one complaint. My friends decided we were going to do a buddy read, and I've never read a Robin Hobb before, so we decided to read Robin Hobb together. We decided to start with the Live Ship Traders, which I have heard is a good place to start, and as you can tell, it was a ride. Our very slow-paced fantasy. There's a lot of meandering. There's a lot of different storylines that we follow. Obviously, all these books are like 900 pages long, so there's a lot to jam pack into them. I will say Robin Hobb is a master at writing characters. You go from absolutely despising a character but understanding their motives, later on like absolutely loving them sometimes, or vice versa. I have read these before, but I bought new copies of them because I wanted to annotate. This is the Throne of Glass series. It's the whole series. I decided we were going to do a buddy read. My community and I were going to do a buddy read. We were going to read a book each month, but that hasn't happened. I know, y'all, Sarah J. Maas is like not the greatest, okay? Let's be honest, okay? Hasn't really updated their views in a while, so I don't know where they stand on things. So let's just be clear about that. I'm not gonna tell you, all have seen these books all over the fucking internet, I'm sure already. That I got these for free. I am missing one, but I would love to reread this series and annotate as well. And this is the Lunar Chronicles. So I have this is like the short story collection. We have like the prequel. And then, of course, I have the first 3. I am missing Winter, and I love these. These are like sci-fi fairy tale retellings. And of course, we have like Cinderella. She's like a mechanic. And then we have Scarlet, and she's like Little Red Riding Hood. And then we have Cress, who is stuck like in space on like a satellite. All right. These are the stars. I'm obsessed. I probably spent the most money on these. I bought them all as soon as I could. Some of them I bought outright, and then other ones I had to wait for, but they're all here now. Who watches any of my streams or has kept up with any of my reading habits knows I am absolutely obsessed with Dungeon Crawler Carl. I would love to make so many videos about how much I love Dungeon Crawler Carl. I made a database around this series. I'm obsessed. I read them all at the beginning of the year, and I plan on doing it again in September. I want to do it more, and I'm annotating them this time around because I just listened to the audiobooks because the physicals weren't all out yet. But now I own all the physicals, and now we're going to annotate them and finish my database. I think this is the best series of all time. Some other version of Allie really talk about how much I love Dungeon Crawler Carl, because otherwise we would be here all fucking day, and I don't have time for that. But just know, I fucking love Dungeon Crawler Carl. Let's talk about ones that I have bought or pre-ordered for whether I own the series and want to continue or just thought they were cool. One of my goals this year is to finish the Diviner series, so I ended up buying it because I'm annotating them. I technically own these already, but I own them in fancy edition hardback, so I need ones to annotate. So I bought Before the Devil Breaks You and The King of Crows, and these are the ugliest paperbacks I ever did see. Roaring 20s demon hunting, basically. And if I had known that, I would not have waited so long to read The Diviners. It is hands down, one of the best written series I think I have ever read. And I just really take my time savoring these because it's a world that is so unique and I feel like isn't always done well. So I really take my time. I love all these characters. They're complicated and they're flawed and it's amazing. I love that Libba Bray really does their research into so many different like historical issues, societal issues, spiritual issues during the 1920s. So this is just Of course I pre-ordered Faithbreaker, and honestly there's 2. I pre-ordered 2. Special edition and one non-special edition, which I'm currently annotating. And I haven't read it because I don't want to finish it. Because I love the series so very much. Godkiller is one of my all-time favorite books in a world that has been banned of gods, but gods still exist. And we follow different characters who have different views about the god banning. But clearly, like, something is in the air. And like, war is coming, you know? So, this is like the climactic ending to all that, and I have a feeling that something that I don't want to happen is going to happen, so I'm kind of been putting it off. But aren't these gorgeous? These are just gorgeous. They're gorgeous, and this one has sprayed edges, and it's gorgeous, you know? Beneath These Cursed Stars, I think this is a Fairy Loot edition that I pre-ordered. These Hollow Vows, these Twisted Bonds, which I really enjoyed, was a duology, but this follows characters within that world, so I was like, oh, I'll be interested, but I'm not gonna lie, I started to read this, and I said, who the fuck are these characters? I said, what is going on? I might have to do a reread of the duology again. I really enjoyed them to fully grasp what the hell is happening here. Another Fairy Loot edition was Cursebound. I read Feybound during a 24-hour sprint. Really enjoyed it. Multiple characters, and like they've kind of been a little bit lied to about how the world works and magic and whatnot until they end up being prisoners, and it really opens their eyes to like who are the real bad guys and who are the real good guys. Lightfall, this is the 3rd in this series. I really love this. This is a middle grade series. Job of depicting a girl who has anxiety. And we are kind of trying to save the world. Highly recommend. It's a little bit cozy, but just enough action to like really keep you going as well. But like the colors in it are gorgeous and the artwork's gorgeous, and I just highly recommend this series. And I picked up Saga Volume 12, and I actually can't remember if I read Saga Volume 11. I did a whole reread of them last year and caught up, but I don't know what's come out since then. And then I also picked up I Hate Fairyland Volume 6 because I had learned that they had continued these, and if you know, this is one of my all-time favorite graphic novel series, so I'm glad to be continuing it at some point. I also want to do a reread of the whole series and just catch up. It originally was only a 4-volume series and it ended so early. I was so upset, and I was like, I don't know if I can recommend this anymore, like how bad this ending is. But I'm glad that we're continuing it. Is Silver Cloak. I just got this. This is the Waterstones edition. Obsessive detective infiltrates a brutal gang of dark mages. I'm here for it. I don't know if I've really read much with detectives in a fantasy world. My friend Keisha has been reading A Broken Blade, and a few other people have recommended this to me in the Halfling saga. I know a good many of these are out already, but I thought I'd buy the first one and give it a try. I think there was a sale on the paperback, so that's why I have it. This buy, and we have to go into the Fey world. That's all I need to know. Look, this is a bargain book. Bargain book. I thought, what a fucking steal, so I picked it up. This is my problem. This is how we end up in the situation that we are. This is A Day of Fallen Night. Have I read any Samantha Shannon? No. It's a fucking steal, so I'll buy it. Do I know anything about this? No, I don't. I just know so many of you either love it or hate it. I wanted to look more into adult high fantasy, so I was like, this one seems really loved. Also, I think this is gorgeous. I love these colors. They just don't, why aren't more fantasies like bright and beautiful in these colors, you know? I was book shopping in DC. We stopped at an independent women-owned bookstore, and so I decided to pick up this one because it's gorgeous. Midnight Rooms. It's Crimson Peak and Pan's Labyrinth is what it's been like, you know, compared to, and those vibes alone, gothic, creepy gothic vibes. Let's fucking go. I think it was kind of like a Crimson Peak retelling in some way. And we have a Nicked. I bought this, I'm gonna be straight up, I bought this based on the cover alone. This is so my shit. This is like If We Were Villains all over again. When I first picked up If We Were Villains, and it was like one of the best books I've ever read, because it had a skull on the cover that looked like this. Bizarre and true quest to steal the mystical corpse of a long dead saint. It's a heist to steal a body, I think. I've heard that this is like funny. On top of, like, it's funny, but also very dark, which is my jam. I had pre-ordered the Expanded Earth one because this is gorgeous. It's a very weirdly shaped book, honestly, but it's gorgeous. It's orange, which I love. It's got plants on it, which I loved, and I was like, do I even need to really look at what else is in it? It's just gorgeous. God is alive and physically among us, but not in the form we've been taught to expect. This is the first in a trilogy as well, but I was like, oh, I'm interested in this. Anything, honestly, fantasy that deals with like a religious aspect really also fascinates me, because, you know, we get to ask those questions without being called like blasphemous. I love Grady Hendrix, and so I like to collect Grady Hendrix books, and I ended up getting the Waterstones edition mostly because I like this edition a little bit more than I like the US edition. I love the blood-soaked pages. Girl who I believe gets taken to like an asylum, or it's like the horrors of the asylum, and it's all about the other women and girls also stuck and all their troubled ways. I got Daughter of Chaos mostly because it looked gorgeous. It's giving, you know, God Killer vibes. It will be her destiny to hunt the gods. Basically God Killer all over again. And so I was like, oh yeah. Mythology and fantasy, sign me the fuck up. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This is A Dark and Drowning Tide. This is, I want to say, is this the fairy? This is the Illumicrate edition, which is gorgeous. This has so many gorgeous editions. We're searching for power. Who would have guessed? To meet up with her academic rival. Oh, academic rivalry? Okay. I remember why I pre-ordered this now. Academic rivalry, sign me up. Gorgeous. I actually don't know. Like, everyone raved about it when we saw the covers, but I don't know if anyone has read it. I don't know if I've seen anyone actually read it. And Wisteria, I've just been collecting the Fairy Loot editions of this series because I think they're gorgeous. Have I read any of them? No. Do I know what this is about? No. We're on vibes here. I'm a book cover hoe. I'm picky. And sometimes I say, give me pretty thing. Ooh. Books that I bought with the anticipation that they'll be used for like a video or something. The first part of Brandon Sanderson's the Stormlight Archive, mostly because my bestie Shay has been absolutely loving this book. She is a chronic DNFer, and the fact that she has been flying through this massive series tells me it must be good. Like I said, I'm trying, more adult fantasy, but also I want to try Brandy Sandy again. We're going to try not to DNF him this time. So I really like these editions. I think these are like the UK editions. I like the white and the red. I bought the first part. It was actually cheaper to buy the parts separately than it was to buy them all together. I figure if I don't like these, I'll give them to my friend because they have been absolutely loving them. Remember I was talking about I really like picking bad books for 24-hour streams? October, I'm gonna read Salem's Lot because I hate Stephen King and I've hated everything I've read by Stephen King. So everyone was like, you should read Stephen King. There's just something about, you know, reading books that it will probably be miserable for 24 hours. So anyway, if you want to read along with me in October, this is what I'm going to be reading for the 24-hour stream. This is the only one that I might like. So many of my community members have been talking about I Who Have Never Known Men. Mostly Chelsea, and this is about 39 women who live imprisoned in a cage. I don't know, I've heard that this is just an absolutely fantastic read. I picked up Little Women to read for this year. I really want to read Little Women this year. This is going to be the year. I feel like everyone who has read it has loved it, and I feel like it's time. Did I know it was this big? Not really. I want to see if it's really as good as everyone says that it is. Like, people change their whole personalities after reading this. I have some gifts here. What you are looking for is in the library. This is another one of those like cute cafe books. I think this type of book is really big in Japan, and so a lot of these have been translated to English and they're becoming more popular here, but it's a massive genre. I'm assuming that this has to do with a cat that helps us find book recommendations, and I will not be, I hope it's not otherwise. Health. I got Live to Tell the Tale, Combat Tactics for Player Characters. Play D&D. I want to learn how to be essentially a better player when it comes to combat, especially because I play a very squishy, fragile rogue, and I don't really have a lot of abilities, but also I'm limited in how much I can do simply because I have like negative constitution, and also we're like level 4 or 5 and I have like 16 hit points. So I need to learn to get good at combat so that I don't die and my friends don't die. I got Lucy Undying, which is on my 25 and 25 to read this year. This is probably going to be on my Halloween TBR, and I think this is gorgeous. I love Kirsten White. I tend to like a lot of their stuff. She escapes the thrall of Dracula and embarks on her own search for self-discovery in a gothic fantasy. Sign me up. That's what I want. And there's Murder Most Puzzling. This is like a puzzle book that you go through and solve, which was a gift as well. Because I have been absolutely obsessed. Number puzzles, any of the puzzles. I want to do them all. Then I picked up 2 books, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to keep these 2 books. I had pre-ordered Odd Spirits by S.T. Gibson because I have enjoyed things by S.T. Gibson, but this takes place in the same world as, oh fuck it all, what the hell's that series? Evocation, and I really disliked Evocation, and this is like a novella that takes place within that world, so I don't know if it's anything that maybe I'll give this a read because it's a novella, but I really just did not care for that book whatsoever. So technically I got this free, so like nothing gained, nothing lost, I guess. Last Devil to Die, this is part of the Thursday Murder Club. This is the 4th one, I think. And this was a series that I had planned to read this year. I was like, this is going to be the year I'm going to read these. I've heard such good things about them, and I DNF'd the first one. I disliked it so much. I was bored out of my mind, and it was not at all what I was expecting. Not going to keep the series, but I wanted to show you that I at least had picked it up in hopes that maybe I would read it. Unfortunately, I'm not. Then we have the Bookbox Books. This will actually be the last Fairy Loot books I haul. Unless I would like pre-order something, because I've since canceled so many of my book subscription services because your girl gotta save money now. I'm honestly not going to talk too much about most of the books that I got in book boxes because I got so many of them. I do accidentally have 2 copies. Bought the Book of the Month one, and then Fairy Loot had Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I love when this happens! This one's the worst because I don't attempt this. Most of the time I accidentally buy multiple copies because I can't remember anything. This is not my fault. I will be keeping the Fairy Loot because it's gorgeous. Get Litjoy crate, Litjoy whatever, has a 2B read or 2B something subscription, and you get to choose the book that you want. I always forget to select a book, so it's a surprise. So these are the ones that I got. Are they the ones I would have picked? Probably not. Crash Landing. Is this something I would have picked? Honestly though, these are such high quality. They're heavy duty. Quality of these are so freaking good. Yeah, this is two people who like do not get along and then they get plane crashed on an island together. Temptation Magic, I have heard good things about this. We got A Language of Dragons. It's London, 1923. And there's dragons! Oh, I do love me some historical fantasy. The other one is Book Swap that I got, and I am interested in this, which is a romance that is told about two people, I think, falling in love through, like, margins of a book. I think it's at, like, the library, and they keep writing their notes in the book, and then, like, passing it back and forth, and, like, falling in love with each other that way, and that sounds cute. I'm here for that. I hope it's done well. I think this seems surprising. I feel like I should have more, but I have two of my Evernight books here. One is Bat Eater, which this does have a different title in the US. This is a horror-specific subscription through Illumicrate, and I just think the covers that they've been making are absolutely stunning for these. I've been liking them a lot more than most fantasy covers these days. I think because, like, I mean, horror is, like, you can go creepy and wild with it. However, I don't really like The Staircase in the Woods. This one is a little lackluster for me. This is Chuck Wendig, who I got to see last year. Things about Chuck Wendig, I want to say I've attempted to read something by him before. Haven't enjoyed it, but it might have just been that general premise. So we'll see. Oh my god! How could I forget to mention? I forgot to put these in because I put them in my fancy collections. But I'm at ML Rio. I drove basically 8 hours in one day to go see ML Rio. Because I just love ML Rio. Did that amount to me just basically going, hi, I love your stuff? Yeah. This was when Graveyard Shift came out, which I really, really enjoyed. It's very Scooby-Doo-esque. It's very short. It's a little novella, and it was very fun. These are gorgeous. As you can tell, I bought 3 copies. And then I also got a new edition of If We Were Villains, because I saw this and I was like, I don't have that one yet. And I actually got this one so I could get it personally signed at the time. So I got this one. This one's signed to me specifically. ML Rio has written my name, and that is all that matters in the world. Thank you. That was, okay, back to the book boxes. I've been recently trying out Aardvark, which is, I think, a newer book subscription service. It's very similar to Book of the Month in that, you know, you get a credit for the month and then you choose a book that you want. I've been much more into dark horror stuff, so Aardvark has been coming through with the fantasy and horror elements. So Moth Theater was one of my anticipated releases for the year. This is a queer fantasy set in the Appalachian Mountains, which sign me up. I love Appalachian because I am a Appalachian girly. Starving Saints, absolutely stunning. Another one of my anticipated reads for the year. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Joe Abercrombie has been recommended to me so many times. I don't know if you can start with this because I know he also has like those series that kind of like intertwine and whatnot. So I feel like I maybe could. It's a band of anti-heroes. So I don't know. Let me know if you know anything about Joe. Tell me about him. When the Wolf Comes Home, another one Nat Cassidy I've read, have enjoyed their writing, and this is another one of my anticipated releases for the year. So glad I could pick that up. Oh my god. I have looked at this cover a million times and did not know there was a wolf there. I just thought that was a shadow in the wind. I just now noticed this. Jess finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes and then they're suddenly running for their lives. Oh god, that sounds gory and amazing. Oh, I should move that up on my TBR. When the Tides Held the Moon. This is also, I believe, a queer fantasy, and I think it has to do with mer people. Well, there's a mer person on the cover, so I would hope so. I'm assuming the merman is stuck in captivity, which is probably, and then, you know, we're gonna have to try to break our handsome merman out of captivity. And then Blood on Her Tongue, another one of my anticipated releases. We're getting a lot of long dogs. I love long dogs. Getting a lot of long dogs on covers this year. And I don't know why, but I like it. Do I understand why it's on this cover? No, I don't. And we have Book of the Month. A lot of the Book of the Month selections recently haven't really appealed to me, but I still have quite a few. I still think it's a great deal. What you get, you're not really going to get a hardcover much cheaper than when you get them at Book of the Month. So Babylonia, which is obviously like a mythology retelling. I do tend to love a good like mythology, historical, feminist retelling. Blackwood's Blue Sky. Yeah, dark fairy tale. That's the buzzword. Maybe I'll just say buzzwords. Dark fairy tale. The Wild Huntress. This says the monsters will fear me, and it's very much giving women love me, fish fear me for some reason, and I don't know why. It's Faye and the Wild Hunt. Megan Miranda is just a author that I have loved in the past, and I haven't read any of their stuff for a while. I've taken a little bit of a break, because their stuff tends to be a little bit repetitive for me, so I might return to this. This is You Don't Belong Here. Dearest, I think this is creepy looking. Her strange mother shows up and like something comes along with the mom that like we don't actually want in our home. Song to Drown Rivers. I think this might also be like a mythology retelling. Our Infinite Fates. I feel like so many people were talking about this when it came out. They loved each other 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How You Lose the Time War? Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. The Road of Bones. I probably got this because it was a fantasy pick of the month. Viking-inspired romantic fantasy. Ooh, Vikings. Yes, Viking. I feel like there's not a lot of good Viking fantasy out there. Not a lot of, I don't even know of very much Viking romantasy. The rest are fairy loot books. I'm gonna fly through these. We go through these fairy loot books. I'm just gonna tell you if I like it, if I like the cover, if I don't like the cover. That's been my biggest thing with fairy loot lately, is I just haven't really liked the covers. Language of Dragons. It's eh. Wait, is that the same? God damn it! Is that a oh, friggity frack. Gosh, dangs it. Every time. Okay, well, we're gonna put those to the side so I know to keep one and give one away. For She Is Wrath. I do like this one. This one I think is one of the better ones they've done, but I love when they do this like green pink thing. They've done this before, a little brighter. Being in the Night Blossom is like, I don't know. It feels like it's not trying hard enough. Ooh, Air by Abba Tahir. I mean, I don't tend to like people on my covers, but I don't mind this one so much. It's subtle in a way that works. This one I think was just kind of like a recoloring from the original, and the original wasn't that great to begin with. Bargain. This is gorgeous. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but gorgeous. Sorcery and Small Magics. This is actually really fun. I like the colors. It's not my favorite, but it's fine. Bloating World. I just don't like people on the covers of books anymore. But I think the colors of this are pretty, but overall I think this is kind of like... Air of Storms. It's fine. It feels fantasy. I do like it's a little sparkly, not overly sparkly. I like the colors. The Teller of Small Fortunes. I do like this one. I think the original cover of this is also really good. So this is a good one. I think this one also is, yeah, it's really cute underneath. And I like the inside jacket. I like the inside artwork. This is one that I feel like they did a good job on. I like that one. Chance of Lies. This is too busy for me. I don't like this one. I think it's too busy. It's too bright. Immortal Dark. This is interesting. Did I pre-order this or did this come in a box? It's weird that it's a naked embossed, but I do like this. Almost bought this twice because I did not realize that I had this. I do like this. It's weird that it didn't come with a dust jacket though, but I like this. The Dagger and the Flame. I hate this. This cover looks like it's from 10 years ago. The Courting of Bristol Keats. I kind of like this cover. I like that it's simple. Like I get cozy vibes from it. This is Mary Ear Pearson. I don't think I realized that. I think this is, you know, this is gorgeous. I like this a lot. This is fun. I kind of wish it was green instead of blue, but Cruel is the Light. This is fine. It's a fantasy cover. It tells me that it's fantasy. That's all I really need to know. The Night and the Moth. I don't, again, don't care when there's people on the cover. Is this that singer? Isn't this that singer? This is definitely that singer. Yeah. I kind of like this more. I do like this. This is the Glittering Edge. It's simple, but it's fun. I like the design is incorporated. This is a good one for me. It's Monster Mind. Wait, this is a fun cover. I like this. This tells me that it's like likely mythology to some degree. If it's not, then I'm way off. But that's kind of, this cover gives like mythology vibes. Ooh, Where Shadows Meet. This one is gorgeous. It's dark, it's gothic. It tells me it's dark and gothic. It tells me there's vampires in it in a very subtle way. And I like the coloring. I think this is a good one. Ooh, that back with the candelabra. That's, ooh, huh. Yeah. See, if they're gonna have people, put them on the inside. Gifted and Talented by this is like, I don't know. I just don't, something about this makes me uncomfortable. Is it the faces like growing out here? Something, I don't know. Something about it, I don't like. Long Live Evil. This also looks like a 2010 cover in some way. but I kind of like it. And then The Girl with No Reflection. I do think this one's gorgeous. I don't tend, again, like people on the cover, but I do think this one works. There's probably some books that I missed, but at this point, I don't know if I would be able to tell. I've had these all sitting here on my floor, making a mini fortress, and now it's time for them to be homed. Whether that's on my shelves or in someone else's home, as I figure out which of these is actually worth keeping and which ones aren't. I'm going to be doing that mostly within my audit series that I will be continuing. So, Twitch chat! Thank you so much for doing this with me. My Twitch chat has been over here watching for most of this. Keeping me good. I do co-working streams, and this is a co-working stream so that I will actually film. We're keeping me accountable. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Goomy. You guys were guessing, and here's the final number. That's how many books I just hauled. Here's some fun stats, I guess. Maybe I'll think of stats. I don't know. Who guessed closest? Who guessed closest? Who guessed closest in the comments? Thank you so much for watching. I'll probably see you for another haul in like another 6 months. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!